Going live, mic check. Going live, mic check. What's up? This is A&M, the number one anime manga podcast in the world. We burped just for that extra little, umph to it.
Do we burp into the mic?
We are burping into the mic. Fuck people. If you got an issue with burping in the mic, fuck y'all. I try, but like if I burp in the mic, deal with it.
I cut out the most that I can.
There you go. But what is up? It is A&M. It is that time of the week. Matt, how you doing today, man?
I'm chilling, man.
Chilling?
Yeah, big chilling.
Big chilling. Not big chilling, but I'm in a good mood.
Okay, that's good.
So
I need a haircut.
Same. Before, man, the content is riveting.
Oh man, must be a slow week.
Before we get into One Piece, and we do have to get into One Piece, there's a lot to. I think we argue very well on here. I think it's a lot of very political correct and it's a very nice form of arguing. Like we disagree without like having to shout and go crazy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say. What do you mean, like PC? Like we try to be what?
I don't try to be PC. That's just if anybody that knows me, I don't try to be PC.
Not very good at it, but I do try.
I don't try. I don't care to. Yeah, I am who I am. Deal with it. We have to. I want to start on a positive note. I don't want to start here. I don't want to start. I want to start on a positive
Justin's about to get misogynistic.
I want to start on a positive note. No, I would never get misogynistic.
Not live.
Sometimes. Maybe sometimes. Everybody's a little misogynistic every now and again, though, right? Am I right, fellas? Am I right? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, boys.
Hey, just
where the boys at? Where the boys at, though?
Fair.
All right, are we starting this podcast?
Let's start here. Let's start here. We've already started. I just don't want to start on a negative note, which is why I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I'm like, I can't do it. Can't start that way.
All right.
Positivity, and happiness.
Positivity.
Here we go. This is a good way to start. Not the happiest, but I think it's a good convo start. A good little intro. We keep talking about those intro paragraphs. This is a good little intro paragraph.
Oh no.
Okay. And this doesn't spoil anything. So let me make that disclaimer before I start talking. This does not spoil anything. This is generic as you want it to be.
What are we talking about?
I always butcher his name, but did you hear about, I don't know if Becca texted you at all. Did you hear about the author for Attack on Titan said he is going to release 10 more pages, or between that 10 to 15 more pages, around there. And his reasoning was Shonen Jump did not allow me the amount of pages I wanted for the final chapter. Now, so now correct me if I'm wrong here. Attack on Titan's pretty popular, right? True or false?
Probably false.
Probably false? Okay.
Yeah. It's a hot debate. I think it's the worst fucking anime of all time.
There you go. We've seen Shonen Jump, just take them true or false statements.
Okay.
I'm very
good at this test.
Shonen Jump is not what we would call an ideal employer.
No. I think they might be one of the worst employers. Although I don't think they're good by any means. I definitely think Shonen Jump's the reason like My Hero's ending as quickly, like it seems to be ending where it's ending. Yeah, I know it's under new management, but like you can only whip your employees so much.
Now, with that being said on Shonen Jump, this one's not a true or false question. Sorry, that was our true and false segment for the day.
God damn it.
Shonen Jump treats their employees, certain employees who have let's say a higher quality product to the table.
Okay.
They treat them differently, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fair to say?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
We talk about all the time. Oda gets to whip his dick around and only put out 3 chapters a month because no one at Shonen Jump is going to be stupid enough to piss that man off and ruin their best product. Fair?
Yeah, when you have 100 volumes, I think you can do whatever you want.
So once again, Attack on Titan's pretty popular, right?
Arguably.
Shonen Jump don't treat the people the best, but they do show favoritism.
Yeah.
Now, I think I know why he would want to do this, but I also think he's pissing on me and trying to tell me it's rain. Shonen Jump, I find it very hard to believe, would tell Attack on Titan, one of their most successful selling mangas of the past decade, 2011 and on.
Yeah.
You have the same rules for your final chapter as everybody else. You only get, and I don't know what he said a number, I don't remember what it is, but you only get the 35, 40 pages that every other chapter gets. I find that hard to believe. Just on the statement of, do you think they really told him you can only have X amount of pages for your final chapter?
It depends on. So, okay. I think he was given an estimate on how many pages. Basically, so when you're a script writer, you need to make a script between, like, for television or whatever, and they go, okay, this is an hour block. You need to be writing something between 45 and 60 pages, and you got a week to do it. I can see where he went, oh, I can get it done in 40 pages. And then when production was finally like wrapping, he went, oh, there are probably like 10 pages of pacing that needs to go in here. At this point, all the editors have said it's 40 pages. I don't know how long it is. I haven't read it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be 40 pages. And it could be something where, because I'm guessing it was probably like pacing pages that got cut. This is just my theory. I think it's because it was pacing. That's usually the first thing that gets cut, like put on the chopping table and thrown in the trash, basically. Mm-hmm. I feel like there was enough, because it was a controversial ending, wasn't it?
Yes, and that's where I guess I'm leading this into, where it says, do you think, and I would hate to think he did this, and I was even telling Becca when she texted me this, I was like, regardless how people feel about the ending, when you get that involved in any story, like you're never going to get 100% satisfaction. Yeah. Like anything you do that you put out to the public, like just it should be understood. Nothing's going to be 100%. Like it's impossible. Sorry.
Yeah.
So people are going to dislike the ending. People are going to love the ending. People are going to feel about the ending. And that's no matter what the fuck you did. The ending of your book could literally be, I Oprah Winfrey this bitch, and everybody who ever read this gets $1,000. Yeah. I think they will still hate it.
I think I didn't mean to like go script writing. I think like the movie process is probably a better example.
Explain.
So when Avengers 2 came out, so that's Age of Ultron. I know you didn't watch it, but
I fuck with Ultron.
Yeah, okay. You know robots.
Yeah.
When Age of Ultron came out, Joss Whedon said it was a very like people either liked it or they hated it. It was a very 50-50 movie. And Joss Whedon said, well, I wanted to make it a 3-hour movie, but I did not get the okay. And people were like, oh, are you going to release that 30 minutes then? And he went, no. I don't think I ever will. I see it like this, where yeah, he probably like wrote 50 pages, trimmed it down in editing, cut the pacing pages out. It wasn't like well received, and he went, well, I have these 10 pages that I would like to release, and Shonen's like, nah, you don't need it. And this is like editors and producers and like everything in the writing world equivalent, you know. And he goes, oh, okay. And you know, it's obvious, it's a classic ending, not very, it's like either well received, it's not well received, like you loved it or you hated it.
Mm-hmm.
And he, I think from a writing standpoint, goes, I think these 10 pages really make a difference because it's a pacing thing. And because of that, I don't expect him to ever release it in a Shonen Jump, but I wouldn't be surprised if Viz like said, okay, toss him in here. Why not?
Well, that's the thing, is these will come out in Shonen Jump.
Are they really?
This is going to be
good for them.
Well, this is my issue.
That's the popularity like weight throw around, because usually that stuff doesn't make it in. Like, you want to talk about popularity, that's not.
No, absolutely.
I guarantee, like, I'm trying to think of like some if Assassination Classroom, the author was like, I got a whole arc that I want to release. That's not getting put in anything.
That's fact.
Like,
that's fact. We love you though.
They'll be like, hey, sell it to an anime studio, and then you'll get an OVA or something. Who cares?
We're still waiting on one.
There you go.
Poor bastards. Well, so that's my thing. Is I agree that the popularity of the show is the only reason why this is going to get released in Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
I will be disappointed though if, and we might not ever really know this answer, outside of actually knowing the person.
Yeah.
I'm not flying to Japan to make new friends, but you know,
it's a dope country. You might as well.
Yeah, but then like I gotta like invest time like for him to really like tell me like deep shit, and I'm like, that's a lot of time, dog. I just
nah, fam, not really.
Right. I'll go to Japan. But I would hate it if, because this feels like bullying the celebrity. Boo, we don't like this thing. You've given us this thing. We have loved X amount of percent of it. We've loved 90% of it. We've loved this huge portion of Dangatine to its incredible popularity. It's on all these things, 10 plus years. We fucking loved it. I don't like the last 10 minutes. Fuck this whole thing. Like, throw a fit. Give me something that I like.
Yeah.
And my problem with that is, regardless of the final chapter, in any way, shape, or form, regardless of if you loved it, hated it, all you're going to do is feel that same exact way about this new 10 pages.
Yeah.
Because like,
oh yeah, like I don't know what this 10 pages is supposed to fix. Like, again, I haven't read it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read Attack on Titan. I don't intend on reading it until after the show's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, look, I've been a Star Wars fan for a very long time. There is not a 10-minute short that could fix the last movie. An extra 10 minutes in the last 3 movies will not fix what a dumpster fire that last movie is. You know, like there's nothing that you can really say. There isn't like it's Star Wars, but you know, 10 pages won't change your opinion on something. If anything, it'll get the fan base kind of excited, and they're probably going to buy that Jump issue, which is probably why Jump was totally down with, hey, yeah, sure, we thought you were done. You know? Like, unless the 10 pages he's released is a completely different ending.
So that's
you
my
saw
other
that
thing.
with you saw that happened with Scott Pilgrim versus The World. You didn't watch it.
I did not.
But it had a theatrical ending, and then for the director cut, they did the ending that's in the comics. So that thing has 2 endings. And you can like pick whichever one you want, whatever one is your ending. I don't see him changing his ending.
That's what I'm nervous about.
I feel like he would have said, "Hey, I have this other ending too,"
Well, and he spoke so much about it, like heading into the final couple chapters, is really this whole last year that Attack on Titan was coming out, and he's like, and these are his once again, not spoiling, just these are his quotes when talking about like a possible ending. He's like, "I've written 4 or 5 endings to Attack on Titan. The ending that I started with when this all started, that's been long gone. That's been gone. I think he said since like midway through season 2.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, I'm like, I think it's that'd been a funny one. There's also a really hilarious, jokes aside, there's a really funny spoof video that someone made. And it's so when Porco jumps up to like get Eren in that last scene we get in the last episode, it's a really funny spoof of him just actually like eating Eren. Eren's entire story ending. Porco is now the founding Titan, but he can't handle it. So he is just I'm gonna find the video and send it to you, but it's just literally Porco becomes the founding Titan, and it's fucking hilarious.
The one who deserved it.
Like,
you ever cheat on a test that in a class that you never showed up for and then get an A? That's Porco.
Like, but it's a really, really funny short. It's just Porco just fucking eats them. Everybody just like is like, what do we do now? And it's great. Real funny 5 minutes. But
I'll be real, if that happened, that's a game changer. I tell you right now, I would not have seen that coming.
He just threw Porco as the founding Titan for the last season.
Well, yeah, and that's the perspective of Eren just fucking with Porco. That would be the dopest. I'll be real with you. 100%, I'm down with it. Like Eren dies and then like is reborn through Porco.
I don't want to see. I don't think I would watch Porco, the main character.
I would.
2 jobs actually. Okay, cool. So yeah, shout out to Porco though. But if you're so he said, okay, I've had like 4 or 5 different endings, changed all of them, blah blah blah, and then I finally got to this one. And if you're putting that out there, that's kind of like your disclaimer of like trying to prep people, like, hey, like some like, because he also said Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, he's like watching some of these like iconic shows end and seeing the reaction people's ending is kind of what made him like tinker with it.
Good.
And whether
I think that's a really important thing to do.
Well, when you have a show that's like this chaotic, right? And this is another one of his things is he's like with and I don't know the end of Breaking Bad. I know it, but I have no context. So like it's like watching a scene, nothing. It was like that. He said Guardians of the Galaxy and Walking Dead. He's like, if you are a Walking Dead fan and you get your initial cast of characters similar to Attack on Titan, it's like there's going to be some of you that want to see all of them live. Well, Sasha got shot a couple episodes ago. Sorry, Sasha, you did not make it to it.
Yeah.
We love and appreciate you. There's going to be people that want to see all of them just fucking die. Yeah. It's like, and then they're going to see people that want like these people to live, these people that is like, so when you have this kind of show or this kind of series where death is such a huge and relevant part of the world, you're going to upset people because people get attached to characters.
That's what happened with Star Wars. There wasn't like enough, like there is a strong part of the fan. Like Star Wars has always been made for kids. It is like, that was the creator of Star Wars has said, hey, this is for kids. That doesn't change the fact that like people went, oh my God, nobody died in the last movie, except the bad guy.
That's kid.
Like it wasn't dark enough. It wasn't like there was no risk. There is no risk in it. And there are portions of the fan base that are totally fine with that. I'm not one of them, but I think you got to have risk in your movies.
I'll only put a disclaimer to Star Wars because Star Wars is Disney now, and Disney is going to do what Disney wants to do, and no one has affected Disney's profit line enough for them to care.
No,
So like it's Disney. It's hard to.
I would say, I know in the grand scheme it didn't really affect their profits, but in the moment they definitely took a hit with that movie. There's a lot of people that weren't happy with the eighth one that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the profits were reflected in the next Star Wars movie, which was like a Han Solo movie or something. And that movie was like the first Star Wars movie to come in under budget.
Damn.
Yeah, it never happened before. Which sucks because it's probably one of the best Star Wars movies I've ever seen. There you go. Okay. you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, man.
And so to finish up here, they said, I hope he's not just bullied into giving an alternate ending just to satisfy people, because that's not the point of a show like this. The point of a show or series like this, when you have this much death involved, it's like you kind of end up becoming like teams. Like you kind of rooting for like, is my person gonna make it to the end? Like I could see how they die, I could see how they live. And so to just give like a cop out, like I guess I'll use as we transition into One Piece. Would you be cool though to giving you two endings?
No, I'm not cool with the two ending thing.
I'm not either.
I'm not either. I'm not, like, especially when an author goes, and it's the same with My Hero Academia too, where he's like, yeah, I had this idea for an ending, but I changed it. My thing is always, yes, it's nice to know where your story's going. It's even nicer to know that a story that you've been working on for over a decade has changed. Like it's not like you wrote your ending and threw it in a vault somewhere. You had the idea for the ending, but you need to stay in the moment. And because you stayed in the moment, things changed. Maybe point A to point B wasn't as straightforward as you thought. I think Naruto, I think the ending to Naruto, where Naruto fights Sasuke, was the original ending. I will say this to the end. Like Naruto fights Sasuke and then Naruto becomes the Hokage. I think there were moments where Kishimoto went, what if I killed Naruto and made Sasuke the Hokage? What if I did this? What if, and I think the ending that he actually lined up with them teaming up and fighting Kaguya doesn't go with the idea that Naruto has to fight Sasuke.
It is forced.
It is a forced fight.
As
cool as that fight is, it's very forced. Again, if the author says this was his like fifth ending for the show, then this is probably the best ending we were going to get.
I agree. I hate multiple endings. I hate alternate endings. I hate because it's the uniqueness to when you're writing a manga that a regular author doesn't get. If you are, I'll be real generic here. If you're Stephen King, and no one's going to argue against Stephen King's writing ability, Stephen King has to sit down and write all of his books in a, and I know some authors have like crazy writing times. Let's just say it takes him 6 months to write a book. Okay. Stay with hard numbers. He's got 6 months to write this book. Boom. He writes it in 6 months. Classic. Hits everywhere. Sells. Makes billions of dollars off it. Right. It has to go, and any book really has to go in that linear timeline of, I got 6 months. Whereas an anime, or sorry, not really an anime, as with a manga author, these take years. And you get to see real time, like, you just might not feel this, like a character, Foxy, okay? Oda might have loved the idea of Foxy when he wrote him.
I really think he did.
And he
I
was like,
really think he did.
slow time down. Like if Oda knew probably from the meaning, he's like, all right, I'm not going to be a time travel guy, but this is the closest. I'll fuck with time a little bit. We'll have a dude who can slow time down for an individual person. Cool. I like that devil fruit. And then he was writing, then he started writing more like Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, the crew. He got to that point and he was like, man, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. This is all right, we just going like fast forward through this, have them do blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Now we're moving on. Hey, what about Foxy? We don't talk about that no more. And because you get that ability to feel differently than you did, Homie started writing Attack on Titan and it came out in end of 2010?
09.
09?
I think is when he started, when like chapters started getting published.
So he's been theoretically writing it since, let's say, 07, 08. I'd
probably say he's been working on it since 08.
Okay.
I would rough
so
estimate.
the way he feels in 08, like if he just writes a list of characters, right? He's just like, all right, I'm gonna have Aaron, Mikasa, Armin. That's my little core trio. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna give them a couple side friends. Okay, I'm gonna give them high end military people. This is like real early, like Irwin, Levi, the one commander who I always fucking forget his name.
Pixis.
Yeah, there you go. Pixis. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have Titans. Okay, I got Titans. Cool. We got Titans. Did I ever tell you at he released where he got the idea from Titans from?
Where?
Ooh, another sidebar note. Homie was attacked in an internet cafe by a dude who was essentially like he was not verbal. So it was just a dude attacked him and he wouldn't talk or respond. And he had to try to get him off as other people came to help him. But they had to get this dude off him. And the dude said nothing, was unresponsive, not verbal. And he was like, that's fucking terrifying. And that spawned Titans in his head.
That's really interesting. I always thought it came from Gluttony from FMA. Is that fool
Gluttony
like
talk?
Gluttony talks, but like Gluttony also like eats people. And he's one of the most terrifying things.
Yeah. Yeah, so internet don't go to internet cafes in Japan. People that don't talk will attack you.
I'm not surprised. I'll be honest, I am not surprised.
But he's essentially, to make long story short, he's writing out all of these characters.
Yeah.
We don't even know how many characters didn't make the list because maybe it's a character reserved for season 4 or the last 25% of the manga, and he's like, oh, well, it doesn't make sense for this person to be here anymore because we've already done this with Pixis or this with Levi or this with Erwin. Like, we always talk about who, if Oda killed off another second major character, who would it be? You've already killed off Luffy's brother, who was someone who was a high-ranking pirate. We lost Whitebeard, who was one of the emperors. Like, Shanks is really the only one that we're like, all right, it would kind of make sense, but even Shanks is like, it's hit and miss. Like, does he need to die to really prove that point again?
Is he going to isolate the fan base by killing off Shanks?
Yeah. And so it's like, when you get that unique perspective, like, all right, what I wrote in 08 and what I'm writing in 2016, I feel entirely different about this.
Yeah.
And it's unique. And I think we get so many different variations of stories, which is why, super long story shorter, putting out an extra 10 pages to try to explain yourself, like, dog, it's already out for the world. Like, people are going to like it. People are going to hate it. You had a hell of a run. You put out something that is going to be immortalized and a classic in your space.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with it.
I like I said, I figure it's a pacing thing. I don't think it's a second ending. If it is, it is. But I think it's, again, it's more steps between getting from A to B, or I guess Y to Z in this case. If it's anything more than pacing, then please let me know and we'll talk about it on the podcast. But
well, that's the thing. Yeah. I don't want to say anything because I'm not trying to give away. This is just it's trying to be as generic as possible. Like,
okay,
putting stuff out. I don't like the idea of putting out a second ending or an altering to anything if it's actually your idea. And I just don't buy that Shonen Jump would tell you, hey, because if anything, I would buy it more that Shonen Jump would two-part something. right?
Mhm.
Like, all right, you're a monthly manga. You already take 40 to 45 pages. You want 70 pages? We're going to two-part you. Because then that at least makes sense from a business perspective. Because now if you want the end of Attack on Titan, you got to basically get two parts of your last chapter without it being considered a second chapter. Like, this is all one thing. But to release like 10 to 15 pages, I think it's going to come out like 2-3 months post the ending of it. Like, it don't make sense. And I'm someone who's been critical. Like, I'm someone who has said not nice things about Attack on Titan or Aaron. A lot of not nice things about Aaron. And it's still like, I was satisfied because I'm used to manga endings. I'm used to anime endings. Like, it's never going to be the perfect way you fucking want it to end.
Yeah.
Like, Naruto don't got a perfect ending. I mean, Bleach is coming back thinking they're perfect ending. They're really hyping this new Bleach anime.
I want to watch it because I want to know if it's going to follow the manga to a T, or if it's like, okay, we're gonna actually fix the pacing, because the pacing was the issue with Bleach's ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they went from like 0 to 100 in 3 chapters and then ended the fucking thing. Like, I'm not opposed to, like, I've seen when you can add scenes to things and like re-edit things. I've seen that work. That happens a lot with I think it was Godfather Part 3 was like a controversial, like, there's 3 Godfathers, but nobody talks about the third one because it's that bad. They released a cut, like, the director like took the footage he had and recut it into something that was actually better. Appeased more of the fan base. I mean, obviously there are people that still hate it, but you know,
that's what
I really liked the Zack Snyder Justice League, that 4-hour supercut. I was cool with it. I was like, this is what a Justice League movie should have been. Maybe not 4 hours long, but you know, this was everything that like the other one was missing. And all of it was like footage that I think they only did like a couple reshoots, and then he filmed some things in his backyard. And he made a movie that was significantly better than the dog trash that came out in theaters. So, you know, like, you know, I've seen it work. Same ending. Both of them had the same ending. It's just pacing. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So here comes the argument.
Where are we moving to?
I just want you to give me off the top of your head without really thinking about it. Just give me a 1 to 10, right? How would you rate this last chapter of One Piece?
This last chapter?
This last chapter.
Probably like an 8.5.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I might need to borrow your shovel because there was no digging on my side.
No. Wow. That was a real fun joke you just said there. I'll try to turn my mic off so I can shit myself with happiness.
Okay. I want to make sure I say this correctly.
Okay.
Because there's just a difference in what happened.
It was some like electrical surge or something. You got loud for a second.
So I want to say this with all respect, because I think this can go somewhere really good. I'm just not happy with this chapter.
Okay.
I'm giving this chapter like a strong 3. And
really?
That's only because. So part of this, now let me be fair here. Part of this is a little bit of fan disappointment in me. I don't like what happened with Zeus. I think Zeus has been built up to be not just food, which is essentially all he ended up being. I'm not a Man, I'm trying to say this really nicely too, because I think this chapter can mean a lot more in the grand scheme of things. I think it's just the way it came out and everything. Like, I disliked the ending. That last page is really
Okay.
that I think is really. I'm not. Let's start there. Because I just want to officially put I just want to put a bow on this conversation of Luffy versus Kaido and not feel like I'm just getting my dick pulled to the left one week and to the right the next. Because this doesn't make sense no more. We got acknowledgement of how strong Luffy was against Katakuri because he wasn't getting put on his ass every other second. Okay. There's fights Luffy's had where he gets the shit knocked out of him several times. Gets back up. And that's kind of your way of knowing it's like, Luffy might be able to beat this guy, but this guy, if you just did a straight power level comparison, guy's probably stronger than Luffy. Okay? Like we brought you when I texted you, you brought up Enel. And that Luffy got kicked off the boat twice before he finally got up to Enel. Or finally got to beat Enel. Mm-hmm. My response to that is, aren't we past getting kicked off a boat and fighting Enel? This whole last month and a half, we've had how many conversations about how strong is Luffy? Oh, he's got this now. Oh, he's fighting Kaido evenly. We just saw Zoro taking it. Like, you keep building up that they're here, and then every other chapter, you just have Kaido swing on them, and it's like, okay, they're here this week, and then next week they're here, and then he's going to come up to here. Oh, last week they were fighting toe-to-toe, and now Kaido Mercy looks like Mercy killed him because he's like, fuck, not Mercy killed. I got carried away and just fucking like really tried to kill this son of a bitch. Like, I was having fun, but I'm going to verbally diarrhea on this. Intervene.
Yeah. I'm cool with the Zeus thing. I know I really wanted him to go to Nami. The ruthlessness of Big Mom, like the idea that like the emperors are doing whatever, like emperors are able to like, I know it seems like they're subverting expectations. I'm fine with it because these are the most powerful characters in One Piece. It shouldn't be easy. And I will say a lot of this raid has felt very easy. One thing I liked about the Whitebeard War was how challenging it felt to get to Ace.
Absolutely.
Like it was insanely hard to get to Ace. And when they finally do get to Ace, they free him and then they kill off Ace. So, I'm cool with how Zeus goes because I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's going to be part of Nami's like power up or something. Mm-hmm. But the fact that Big Mom is that strong and goes, no, what the fuck? I'm Big Mom. I'm number 2 in the world. Fuck you. And is able to just like go, you don't get your way. You don't get your theory because I'm Big Mom. Cool. With Kaido, I expected something like this to happen because we're still technically in the 3rd act of this story. And to my knowledge, this is probably going to be a 5-act thing. Because again, I didn't think the fight was going to end on Onigashima. I literally was like, oh, he's about to park that motherfucker in the middle of Wano
capital. Yeah,
the flower capital. I was like, yes, do it. If there's a bunch of death and destruction because Kaido is walking around because he's the strongest character in the world, yeah, show me why he's the strongest character in the world. And Luffy figuring out a trick to beat him. Like, I don't think Luffy's weak by any means.
I don't think he's either.
I think it's interesting that like Kaido was like the idea that Kaido's like he refers to Luffy as a human being is such an interesting like verbiage, because he's like, I'm above a human being, you know. Here's my question: do you think they're over ground now?
I learned to stop judging anime time 20 years ago. So I'm not going to confidently say no, but I'm not going to confidently say yes, because I just learned last week Oda counts in dozens of minutes, and I'm just forever scarred from that.
This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
My problem is, so you made a comparison to Whitebeard, right?
Okay.
And I like the comparison. Yes, it feels challenging the entire time. You're challenging the world government at this point in time, the strongest people we know. Whitebeard's the strongest character we're introduced to at that time. You have all three admirals, all that shit. But it never felt. This is why this chapter feels like a lot of going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually just listening to our episode again this morning, and one of the things you brought up is like, I don't want to see Shanks or them are the Red Hair Pirates because the Straw Hat should be at a point where they don't need to be saved.
I agree.
I
still think that.
I agree. This chapter feels like, oh, they still need to be saved. Oh, there is still another like, I don't care if Luffy's not stronger than Kaido. Like, I'm not waving the pom-poms for like, oh, Luffy's got to be number one after this. We even talked a couple weeks ago. I'm like, shit, like, what if Luffy is this strong already? Like, that's a lot to still continue however much of the story you want to, and him have already beaten Kaido. But this, like, Whitebeard and during Marineford, it never felt like they lost progress. Like, even Oars losing, like, Oars fell forward. Even the Moby Dick getting exploded by magma because it kind of was a dick. They still pressed forward. Like, you never felt like, oh, Whitebeard getting stabbed. Whitebeard got stabbed and then literally jumped 40 feet the other direction. So there's always there's that momentum. We're building towards something. It doesn't feel like this felt like everything we've accumulated the last 7, 8, 9, 10 chapters. Really, the only person who looked good in this chapter was Kid. And I don't know if Kid actually did damage.
That's what I'm okay with, though. You know, like, it shouldn't be this easy, because I know we've said it a couple podcasts ago. We said, oh, my only issue with this is how easy it's been. Like, oh, okay, Luffy making it to the top floor, reaching Kaido, Zoro blocking 2 Emperor things. Cool. Wow. How? Okay. You know, what's his name? Kid's friend, Killer.
Oh,
Killer getting a hit in on Big Mom and Kaido.
That definitely did do damage. Killer.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, how these guys are emperors? Make them feel like emperors. And I'm totally cool with Luffy getting yeeted off of fucking Onigashima. Yeah, like, Luffy just figured it out. He just figured it out. I don't want him to beat someone who figured it out 40 years ago. Not yet. Not right away, you know.
So could I counter this?
Okay.
And this is one of my things I was trying to think of, right? And I try to put with Luffy in some form of realism. Okay. And this is why I don't mind that, like, if I would have been okay, like, if Luffy just showed up to this fight and they just essentially get, like, ransacked by Kaido. Like, you just clearly set from the beginning, like, you're not here yet. Like, you're crazy strong. let's say Luffy is as strong as any. He's right above that first mate of an emperor level. So like he's above Katakuri, King, all them, right? But he's not at an emperor level yet. I'd be cool with that. Be totally cool with that. Because as we've said before, Luffy's 19.
Yeah.
Roger wasn't in Roger's prime that was displayed for us. He's in his 30s, 40s. Whitebeard was old man in his 70s. And then in his prime, he just killed everyone. So Luffy at 19, I'm not mad if he can't beat an emperor. To your point of like, if Kaido figured it out 40 years ago, why is Luffy beating him at 19?
I think it would be a really interesting thing, though, for like Luffy gets chucked off, right? And forces himself back because we know Luffy is able to fly to a certain extent, you know? I think it'd be sick as shit if he like, so this happened in the Demon Slayer movie. They have this this demon's whole thing is based around like putting people to sleep. And in your dreams, basically, like he can kill you in your dreams, like, which is pretty terrifying. Main character figured out, I just have to commit suicide in my dream to wake up. And so he gets put asleep, and then he like kills himself and then comes back. And it's like very cool. I wouldn't be angry at all if Luffy like forced himself back to consciousness with like Conqueror's Haki or whatever, and then like flew back up there.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean? Like I could see it going that way. I could see it going that they're over Wano, so he hits ground. And we're starting to end Act 3. I could see it where Kaido's kid comes in and like Yamato comes in and like saves Luffy and like pulls him back up to the top because we don't know what Yamato's fruit is. We just know that he is unable to or he has his sea stone off, so he can actually use his powers. Yeah, man, it could go a bunch of ways.
Does this chapter, and I think I'm against this, which I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here for a second, but it makes sense in my head, so the intent is not hypocritical. I just said I put Luffy in a realism box. He's 19. Does this chapter, and let's say the next couple of chapters, like it's more like doom and gloom, like Big Mom and Kaido are really, like you said, they're showing out as emperors. Like they're really like, we are the top 2 people on the planet. Fuck with us. Does it make you feel like they need a time skip or another time skip?
No. I think if Luffy figured out that Conqueror's Haki is something that can be coded, I don't think we're getting another time skip. I don't think we need it.
So do you think,
again, I think that's like as like high up as Haki can get. And so I'm like, what is a time skip going to give us, you know?
So do you think then, and this is like, so I don't want a second time skip. That's why I think a little much of my frustration comes from, well, reading this chapter. And like I said, this chapter might play out in the grand scheme of things, like not to be a bad chapter. It's just kind of an in the week thing. And Oda fucking course goes on break next week. So that's
the other big cock tease. I saw that and went, aye.
So that was a little annoying. Do you think then Luffy becomes Pirate King at 19 years old?
Yeah. Maybe 20. They'll do what Naruto did in Shippuden and like make his birthday.
But Naruto technically hit a time skip before he became Hokage.
Yeah, but I don't think One Piece will do that. I think if anything, they'll be like, I think they're going to hang out on Wano for a few months because I think everyone's going to be real fucked up. But I think they're going to stay behind on Wano and fix it up.
Even though it's still Kaido's territory? You think Kaido's going to let that happen?
Oh, I think they beat Kaido still.
Oh, you still have them beating Kaido in this fight?
Yeah, but like, the difference between Dressrosa and Wano is, Dressrosa got flattened, but the military came in. I think I wouldn't. I would love the military to come in to Wano, but I'm also like cool if they don't. You know,
I'm of the belief,
like if pirates like help rebuild Wano, or like the samurai exist to like protect Luffy, then cool. Yeah.
I'm of the belief that see, no, because CP0 would fuck that up. Because
Yeah, the
I'm
CP0 thing, I'm like intrigued on how that plays out.
because I don't think the Navy goes to Emperor's Islands, and I think that's part of the protection of the island being claimed by the Emperor, which is why now Whitebeard did it obviously in a better way per se, but I think that's why some of these small islands let Kaido, Big Mom, Blackbeard, Shanks, whoever claim them, because then they don't have to deal with Navy interference. You don't have to deal with other pirates interference, because who the fuck's going to attack you?
Mm.
But I also think Jinbei being on the crew now and getting to see that, if let's say they take out Big Mom or Kaido, specifically Kaido, because Wano's his territory.
Yeah.
If they took out Kaido, I don't know how you get it past CP0, or maybe CP0 just doesn't make shit public. But I don't think they would ever release that Kaido was beaten, because they saw what happened when Whitebeard was announced defeated. Now he was just videotaped, like, oh shit, Whitebeard's dead. All his islands got ransacked. Yeah. Everybody came through. And it was by bums. Fucking, we got Brownbeard for a chapter. Good old Brownbeard.
I like the idea that like I think the fallout of this fight is much bigger than we have an island flying through the sky right now. You know, I think the fallout of this is going to be huge. Just the collateral damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's like maybe a 6-month time skip where they rebuild Wano. I'm cool with that.
My so hero not going like a multi-year one.
Yeah, it's not like a training arc time skip, but like just one where it's like, okay, let's just rebuild the island that we destroyed.
We don't do that very often. We just break shit and leave.
We protect Wano in that regard. Maybe some of the Straw Hats go out and like explore things a little bit and check out like other islands like nearby, or Zoe makes a trip near Wano. I don't know. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't be angry with a 6-month time skip, as long as it's like maybe it ends with like, oh, it's Luffy's birthday or something, whatever, and then we start the next arc on that note. But to keep it with this chapter, I'm like, if Luffy hits the ground, we're about to see the Emperors like start fighting back. And the next couple chapters are like going to be interesting then. Okay, you're just going to see some fucking like choppers beating the shit out of Queen, and Kaido comes down from the roof like, what the fuck is going on? And then like
kills everyone.
Fucks everybody up. Yeah.
So then here's my second question. We'll change that. So time skip popped in my head. Then the second one that popped in, and like I said, I think my biggest disappointment is it's a fan thing, because this felt like such a huge Luffy and the crew coming of age moment. Like, we can fight with the Emperors. Like, we are at that point of the story where we used to fight Buggy. We used to fight Arlong. No disrespect to those characters, except all of the disrespect towards Buggy. We are in an entirely different place, and just this growth is beautiful. And
I don't think this shows that there's no growth, though.
Not growth, but I thought if it depends on how big, because I think the next thing that's going to happen, and this is I'm going to get to in a second, is we'll show how big the gap is, and that is Big Mom is still pissed at Kaido. Even though she threatened to kill, like, even though she threatened to kill Otama herself, she is still pissed that Kaido's men burned down the village.
Yeah.
So Big Mom and Kaido get into a fight. Their fight will be a showing of, okay, what's the difference? Because if they're fighting like vigorously, how much damage did Luffy and them do?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a lot? Was it almost nothing? Like, and I would hate to still see at this point in time, and I'll ask you this question in a second. I would hate to see at this point in time, after everything we've seen so far, for there to still be a massive gap between them and the Emperors. Not saying Luffy's got, like I said, I'm cool with Luffy being the 5th strongest Emperor. Like at 19 years old, you could be number 5. I'm cool with that. What do you think we get a Big Mom Kaido fight? And how do you see it playing out? Because Big Mom is still pissed.
She's pissed at Kaido, yeah. If we got the fight, then I don't. Is it bad that there's a part of me that really wants Big Mom to like win?
That's good. I think it's plausible. I think Big Mom winning would be a sign in Luffy's favor, because that means Luffy dragged Kaido down enough after their fight that Kaido was definitively number 1. Like Big Mom won't even fuck with Kaido to a point where she can beat him. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how satisfying that would be
if one of them took out each other.
Well, I also kind of like the idea that she steals his soul.
She could, but that could be part of winning the fight.
Yeah, like she steals his soul, and then he's now one of the homies
that fly around her.
Yeah, that would be pretty rad. Like just a dragon god, but you name him after like the
Hades. No, we've already got
we got Hera.
Hera, Prometheus, and
not Prometheus. Napoleon.
Napoleon. There we go. I was like, why am I forgetting the third one?
I was like, not Neptune. You gotta go through all my character names. Like that would be cool, I think. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
they might also not be other souls, because Big Mom straight up told Zeus, like, I'm not letting you fucking leave. You're part of me. Like, you're my soul.
Yeah, right.
And so if that might be a thing to her power where, like, it's all her souls. She could just, man, I hate this. I did a lot of Big Mom Moria comparing when we first got to find out about her, because we just didn't know much, and Moria seemed like the comp to me.
But I think she's pretty similar. Like, I think her power works similarly to Moria.
I would agree. But so with that, it's like, if all those souls are her, but she can eat or consume someone's soul to make her own stronger, the same way Moria did it. Now, Moria did in a janky version where he like took all the shadows in, but he couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
But if she is taking in all the souls and increasing the strength of her own, then if she gets Kaido's soul, well, then she automatically jumps to number 1 in the world.
Oh yeah.
And she'd be a monster. But those individual, like the Zeus, the Heras, the Prometheus, those are still little fractions of her, not necessarily another soul she took. Because we've gone back and forth on like, excuse me, on what we think those are. Like if those are part of her, if those are other people's souls, if those are like, did she literally just rip out something from the sun and named it Prometheus and said, have a good day? Yeah, oh man.
There's a lot that this can go. There's a lot of places it can go. I like the idea of the Emperor's kind of rampaging.
I get it.
We
lost momentum.
Show me why they are the 2 strongest characters. Show it to me. Why is Kaido the most powerful character in the world? And the fact, I think it would be really interesting if Luffy also got back up there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, oh, you won't knock me down. Because
Do you,
then at that point, like Kaido's like real stoked.
do
Like,
you think? Do you feel? Maybe I'm just a pessimist. Do you feel like Nami was set backwards? Like she had like this we thought moment that she hit Bull Bitch, and then we thought, oh, she's about to get Zeus, and come to find out she really didn't hurt Bull Bitch, and now she's got no Zeus, and now she's running away with Usopp again as they have for the last 1,000 chapters. Do you feel like that's a step back for her character, or do you just feel like that's just Nami? Hi, Risa.
Risa, what's up? Yeah, I that's the unfortunate part with it. I really did want Nami to get a power up. I think it would be uh more funny if Hera takes on the role of Zeus and goes, "Oh, I really like those clouds." You know, I think that would be pretty funny. Um,
Get some Titan shit going on. Zeus just lives vicariously through her.
yeah. Well, I mean, like just the idea that eating lightning makes these clouds
Things
like,
happy, yeah.
yeah. Am I sad that Zeus is gone? A little bit. I think that was kind of like a dope opportunity to showcase some Nami when
Mm-hmm.
Robin is getting some like time and Chopper seems to be getting like when those two seem to be getting time. Um, I would love to see like Usopp and Nami get something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I
I'm very excited to start reading Wano from cover to cover.
No, this is definitely gonna be one of those start to finish. I think it'll be better than week to week, and it's been really good week to week.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just like, and it might just be a fan of me. This isn't a critic's opinion, even if it's being critical. It just felt like a lot of setback for the crew. Like felt like setback for Nami. Felt like setback for Luffy. I still don't know if Zoro's even gonna fight anymore in this arc. So it's like they're making so much progress, and like I said, I wasn't coming out here saying they gotta definitively win. But the fact they were in a full-fledged, basically war just due to the power level of these people and hanging in there with the emperors was such like a, oh fuck, this is really cool. I remember when these dudes used to just get fucking shit on and like they were ragdolled by people this strong.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, my part is just fan wise. I'm like, oh guys, it's like it's rooting for a team. Like I'm rooting for the Straw Hats, and
Yeah.
they just got the ass whooped 35. Like it was a cool game going into halftime. It was 28-28 going into half, and then these niggas gave up 21 in the third, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but there's like four
So I got a fourth quarter, absolutely.
Still got the rest of the third quarter too, probably.
Absolutely, but it's like that's just where I'm at, and it's just that feeling of like, fuck, man, they scored again. Oh fuck, they scored again. Oh fuck, like.
I do agree that this is probably the most back and forth One Piece has ever felt. One chapter they're up, one chapter they're down, one chapter they're up, one chapter they're down. It's probably the most back and forth. I think it's because when you compare that to the Whitebeard War, the destination was always Ace. So with this one, the destination is I need to get stronger than an emperor. And that one tends to be a little harder to do. Like, again, Bleach struggled with this a lot in their last arc, where it was like, and in this chapter, I do my thing. And then at the end of this chapter, you power up. And I get to see how cool that power up is in the next chapter. But don't worry, I also have a power up. And that's how we end that chapter. And now we're in this chapter where I'm showing off this new power up. But it's not quite strong enough because the opponent had another power up. And that's how Bleach was going. So it's not there.
No, yeah.
It feels back and forth. I think it's because we're starting to play with the main character hitting the ceiling of One Piece.
Yeah.
And you know, I again, I wouldn't expect it to be very easy to break the ceiling of One Piece.
No, that's a fact. Um, that's all I got for One Piece for this week.
Okay.
Unless you have something you want to add in.
No, I'm really interested. There's a strong part of me that hopes that like Luffy literally, oh man, excuse me. There's a strong part of me that really hopes Luffy just like jumps back, you know, and go like I could see this page being how they end a volume. And then in the next, and then in the next volume, like either Yamato saves Luffy or Luffy like willpowers himself back to consciousness and then jumps back up there. Because Luffy and Kaido were having a good time.
They were. That's why
That's why I'm like, oh, okay. Like Kaido's real sad because he thinks he's won. How happy do you think Kaido would be if Luffy like jumped back up there?
That's fair. That's fair. Like I said, I'm just a sad sports fan, and the other team just got 3 straight touchdowns, and I'm like, all right, guys, we got to something, anything, please.
They gave a timeout.
Definitely need a timeout
for 13 days.
Timeout for ass whooping. All right. So in the first leg of our anime bracket, we got Yusuke versus Spike. Yusuke advanced in that top left corner. For this week, if Matt would be so kind as to pull up the generated computer D4 die.
Yeah.
We have 3 more matchups. This one will be the top right corner. So this is not who's facing Yusuke. This will be his on the other side of the bracket for the top right. I'm ready when you are.
And rolling. 2.
Damn, we're just gonna go in order. Fuck it. 2 times 2 is 4.
We're doing 4.
We're doing 4. Damn. Captain Levi.
Okay.
Versus the Yellow Rat.
Captain Levi versus Pikachu?
Yes.
Okay.
First question. Do you think Levi has ever killed something that small?
No.
I agree.
Not at all.
So, starting with backstory. Now, for to be fair, we are obviously using like if you want like specifics. This is Ash's Pikachu.
Pikachu. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, I guess you could misconstrue it. Like Pikachu itself is like this huge iconic thing, but for this list, it has to be Ash's Pikachu because we don't know shit about the other Pikachus.
You don't know about Ash's Pikachu's backstory, do you?
That's
they just like at this for the new anime that just came out or came out in 2019. The current anime running right now. The first episode is Pikachu's backstory.
So prior to Professor Oak?
Yep.
Hey, let it go.
Okay, so it's Pichu. Pichu is running around outside of Pallet Town and befriends a Kangaskhan and lives with Kangaskhan for a bit.
As you do.
Yeah. And like I'm trying to remember all the logistics. I think that Pichu like saves the little baby Kangaskhan from something and is allowed to like live with them for a bit, but ends up deciding to like leave. And because it had formed that bond, there was a high friendship level between the Kangaskhan and the Pichu. Pichu evolves into Pikachu. And then it cuts to Professor Oak and Ash. So there is a backstory. There is a backstory to, and the baby Kangaskhan and Pichu is very cute.
Oh, and I would give Pikachu the benefit of backstory for Pikachu is, I'd argue at this point in time, all things being relevant, it's those first 10 to 20 episodes. Like it's literally Pikachu. Pikachu was an asshole having to, it was an asshole because it didn't trust people yet.
Yeah.
This is kind of backstory / development, but it's like its development is solely based on like it learning to have a relationship with Ash and other people. So its backstory to me is it's the abandoned child. It's the and I'm kind of insinuating some stuff here, but like it's the Pokemon that doesn't trust people, which is very unique because most of them just don't give a fuck. They're like, yo, dog, if the ball works, and we're just gonna be homies.
Yeah, but I think what that backstory episode showed was that Pikachu's bond was towards Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that strong bond and friendship, that's what triggered Pikachu's evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I mean, it's a big stretch to go like, oh, why wouldn't it like humans? Well, it doesn't like being in Pokeballs. And the first thing a human did was shove it into a Pokeball, and take it out of the wild. So again, it's not the most deep backstory, but
it's there.
It's better than Yusuke's.
That's fair.
If I'm gonna be real.
That's fair. So Levi's backstory. Poor bastard.
Levi has like the most tragic backstory.
Oh fuck no, he doesn't. Not on this list.
Not on this list, but
I was gonna say Gar has some issues with you if you think Levi's got the saddest backstory.
Well, who's Gara? I've never heard of him.
I mean, technically, Aang's got to run for his money too, dog. Like
Aang might be more sad. Aang might be the saddest one.
Like I know, like
oh yeah, my dad didn't like me, and my mom died when I was born, and all my friends really got eaten. And everyone I've ever loved got eaten by Titans. But goddamn it, genocide is pretty fucked up. Sorry, being asleep for 100 years and waking up to find out that everyone you've ever known and loved, A, would have been dead anyway, but B, your culture got wiped out.
Yeah.
So your culture got wiped out so bad, it really didn't start to come back until you only lived to see one other airbender.
Damn.
You never get to I don't think Aang ever met his grandkids.
Damn.
Aang only knew Tenzin, and that was his third kid. So he almost didn't get to see another airbender ever.
Well, okay.
Anyway, we're talking about Levi.
Damn. All your backstories suck compared to that.
Anyway, Pikachu has a really cute backstory.
Holy shit.
I really like Pikachu's backstory. I give it a solid 3.5. It's a very pleasant episode of Pokemon.
Yeah, so that's pleasant. So Levi, mom's dead. His uncle raises him without ever knowing he's his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like youth backstory. His uncle teaches him how to essentially just to kill people. Like that's the only thing I'm gonna teach you. Like most uncles, maybe like teach you how to ride a bike, fix a car. Nah, dog. I can only teach you how to stab a motherfucker. And when stabbing the motherfucker doesn't work, you stab him better.
Yeah.
Then you get kind of like teenage Levi, which I would still consider part of his backstory. Now this one's a little more convoluted just because it's in the OVAs, so it's not in like the original.
That's okay.
Well, OVAs are original adaptations, so
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm wondering if that's in the manga too. I'm like curious. No idea. Yeah.
But we'll count him for this.
Yeah.
So,
I think it counts. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's simple. It's kind of I think what everybody assumes is that it's Levi's first mission or his first couple scouting missions, and so he builds this friendship with these two people, and they're all crazy. Levi's still a little bit crazier as far as how strong he is. Those are his first group of friends, and then just one day they go out, and then homie just sees an arm fly through the air, and he's like, "I know that arm. Why isn't it attached to a body?" And then his other friend. He literally he sees, he's like, "Oh, there's my other friend," and his other friend is bleeding profusely, And he's like, oh shit, I should go help my friend. And then the Titan says, don't worry, dog. I'm gonna help your friend out. I'm gonna get rid of all the pain right now. Needless to say, Levi got very triggered from that and was not good at making friends the rest of his life.
Okay. Like you do. That's
Like
pretty
you do.
understandable. Nice day, Captain.
So Levi's backstory is, as we kind of like analyze more and more, it's not necessarily deep. It's just sad.
It's just sad, yeah.
Pikachu's just cute. Levi's just sad.
Yeah. I again, they're both better than Yusuke's.
Yusuke's just
Yusuke does not have
he just doesn't have parents.
Yusuke doesn't have any. It's like the Peanuts comic. Like Charlie Brown has a dad, but you never see him.
Yeah.
I would probably, so how it fits into, how would you say that fits into? Because wait, what was the criteria again? It's backstory.
Development, then development. That's his own category. Okay. Entertainment, and then role.
Okay. So for strictly backstory, I'd probably give Pikachu. I like 3.5. Maybe. I think that's a pretty solid one. For Levi, maybe a 4, because it kind of plays into the. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna give Pikachu a 4. I'll give Levi a 4, because it plays into Pikachu's backstory, plays into Pokemon lore, like very, very well. In the same sense that Levi's backstory plays into Attack on Titan lore very well.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think they're both the same, whatever number you want to give them. Yeah. I think people are inclined, if you see a sad backstory, and this is just how people are, like, if you see something sad, you give more attention to it, because it's like, oh, damn, that sucks, versus,
yeah.
But like I said, it is just like, people die, but like, look where the fucking show he's from. People just, like, Levi's not the only one with that backstory. He just lived long enough that he's got to deal with all of it. That's it. Hanji has the same backstory as Levi.
Yeah.
Mikasa got to fight. Like, everybody's just like, yo, dog, you had friends? You had family? Well, they dead. We your new friends. We your new family. Come on, Connie, get your ass over here. Like,
Connie had a great life until Zeke happened.
Everybody had a good life until Zeke happened.
Boom.
Zeke's parents had a good life until Zeke happened.
Yeah.
That's
not wrong.
Zeke has done a lot of fucking up for people's lives. But it's okay. He's got he's good intent. Good intent. Fucking cuck. So yeah, we'll give them both a 4.
Okay.
Zeke gets a 0 from me. Development.
I think you want to start with Levi, or do you want me to stick with Pikachu?
I will, like, commenting on both. I would say, I think Levi gets stuck in the same. I don't know if Levi changes. Like,
I think he does. I think he's jaded, though, isn't he? So, like, obviously, you know the ending of the story, which is,
well, even just anime wise, it's like, we joked about
Levi stays pretty consistent, I think, developmentally. I would say optimism to jadedness, which is what Levi's backstory is. He's a little bit more optimistic in his backstory, and then he turns into this jaded OP individual.
But in development wise, he stays, like, the last thing we see Levi do in the anime is what he has done since the start of the anime, which is he loses, his crew dies again. He beats the big bad guy again, and he's just stone cold. He has those, I would even say, like, his expressions, you could use that as a sign of development. But Levi has always had some form of remorse. Like he's always had that, like,
Yeah.
fuck, man, that's tough. Like when his squad dies, it's like, fuck.
I think
man.
there's a piece of development that exists when because Levi's story is very much this. Like he has his ups and his downs. A
lot of downs.
But when it is notable when he is in a positive upswing. When Historia like becomes queen in season 3 and then like walks right up to him and like punches him. That's a really big deal, you know. I think it means cool. Like there's a moment of confliction when Armin is dying and Erwin is dying. And so everything in Levi's bones is telling him to save Armin. But he's also a soldier and he knows Erwin needs it and like humanity needs it. But everything inside of him was like before Erwin was even like on the table,
he was thinking about him.
He was like, yeah, sure, save Armin, go for it. Like he was ready, you know, because that's his squad. That's his squad, you know. That's it. That's the uptick.
Yeah.
The brutality that Levi shows towards Zeke is because Zeke got all of his squads killed, you know. If anything, like the Levi I've seen is like on this hellbent revenge because he's finally able to like go, hey, it's your fault. You're the reason.
I'm not mad at that. That's,
I don't. Now, is it complex development? No, but how it fits into the show, I think, is very important. His development is very pivotal to the events that have happened in the show. It's subtle. It is very subtle. I'd probably give it a 4 again. But that's just me.
Like I said, it's hard to say like it's development because, like I said, he's always shown like this. While he deals with it in a very soldier-esque way, Levi I don't think is ever void of emotion. Like when he fights, he is, but like you see him at different times and I have to talk about it. He's just like I'll never forget. It's like I said, when his crew dies, like him having the look is on his face when the girl's dad says, "Oh my gosh, you like, you know, I know we shouldn't be saying this, but she always talks about wanting to marry you." When he's got to see more people dying, and it's just, like he's just the guy who's had to, what would you call it? PTSD would be the normal thing, but I feel like he's a special exception. He has lived to see all of this fucked up shit happen. And so it's like, how much can one human being take? And he is technically just a human being.
Yeah.
Even if he's a freak.
He's an Ackerman.
That's freaks. So it's like I don't want to say he's not like he's an all around good character, but and I love Levi. It's weird though, just for like this list. But that's why these lists are interesting when you have to rate.
This like, list is interesting. Why would Levi go up against Pikachu in any category? You know, maybe 4 is a little high. Maybe 3.5 for his development. Because again, he doesn't really develop in a singular direction. You know, he's very much like waves. Like 3, maybe 3.5, just because it is tied into that world. It is like very, very much like in tune with what's going on in the show.
Yeah, no, that's why he is even more so than Aaron. And it's like Aaron is literally Levi is so much that show that Aaron is literally how that show had to start. And it's like, yeah, Levi still feels more like that than him.
Yeah.
Like Aaron's literally the founding titan, and it's like, but Levi.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Levi, I would say, is like the Gara of that show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
like he took the brunt of the entire world.
And he's one of the few characters who can like genuinely rival his main character, which is a hard thing to do because main character. Although I love the joke on Twitter is that there's 8 shifters because you have to consider Reiner has 2 forms. He has the armor titan form and then he's just got the plot armor form. Because homie should be real fucked up and just die so many times.
I mean,
and it's just
Aaron
like,
too, right?
Aaron's main character. We just dissociate plot armor with main character.
The only reason Aaron's still alive is because a Titan swallowed him and didn't chomp him. Like, that's the only reason Aaron's still the main character. In episode 5, he didn't get like chomped.
I've always been interested, and this is, yeah. Aaron's just, I don't like Aaron. Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. It's just gonna sound like Aaron hate. Pikachu's development, obviously, like becoming friends with Ash, and that relationship continuing to grow and unfold. The Kangaskhan thing is weird because obviously I didn't know about Kangaskhan coming into this, so I've always just viewed Pikachu's development as a Pokemon that didn't like people that grew to love people. And
his Pikachu's development is with Ash and all of the long journey that they've been on. I wish I could say I'm curious. I would say that Pikachu's development is, again, it kind of plays into Pokemon lore. Like I would say it's very dependent on his and Ash's bond. Pikachu's development, it gets brought up all the time with when Ash is fighting Lieutenant Surge and gets his ass kicked, and it's the idea of evolving the Pokemon versus not evolving the Pokemon. And Pikachu doesn't want to evolve into Raichu to get stronger. Pikachu's content with just being Pikachu. Right down to the fact that Ash and Pikachu can Gigantamax without the fucking Dynamax ring, and they can do the most powerful Z move that is stronger than a legendary Pokemon. And if I'm just spitting words at you, it's because I'm pulling shit out of the most recent episodes.
No, I would say
that those don't really, like, Pikachu's bond with Ash is just kind of like that's about it.
Let's put a number on it.
I'd probably give it like a 2.
He said, and I really felt like you were trying to make a really convincing argument for him. Man, if you do this and this,
maybe like a 2.5. Maybe like a 2.5 because
we'll give it a 2.5.
I like Pikachu, and Pikachu does these crazy cool things, and it ties in with Pokemon lore.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of depth to it. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'll give it like a 2.5. That's me being generous.
Entertainment. I'm gonna give Levi a 5.
Levi gets a 5.
I think if I could give Levi more. Levi, now this is something that technically both have.
Yeah.
But Levi's moment is more geared towards entertainment.
Yeah.
I could argue they both have a year in which they represented the top moment anime for that year. Before I even watched Attack on Titan, I know who Levi and the Beast Titan were. No context.
Because that Levi and Kenny shit, man.
It's
not Levi Kenny, but Levi Zeke.
Yeah.
Although
No
Levi Kenny is
clue.
like a
It's
much
also
better
dope.
fight. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's why I said this is just a moment.
Yeah.
No clue what the fuck either of them were. Didn't watch Attack on Titan. And I just would always see, like, dog. And I think it's 2017. I think it's the year it first dropped. 2017, 2016, whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
It's like, Levi versus Beast Titan. Levi versus Beast Titan. And I'm like, dog, I don't watch Attack on Titan. Get that bullshit out my face. That's a 5 out of 5 moment. Pikachu's moment
Was it
is
Tapu
obviously
Koko?
it's what's the moment? It's the movie. That is
Oh,
in
I didn't even
2000.
think about the fucking
That's
movie.
the top moment. But that's why I say entertainment wise, Pikachu's moment isn't geared towards entertainment, whereas Levi's is. And that's why, like I said, like Levi is just entertaining because Levi's a smart ass. Levi has a good sense of humor. Levi is in his own fucked up way, like he's one of the guys, and his fights are great. Yeah, like I don't
Pikachu versus Tapu Koko is a pretty entertaining fight, if I do say so myself.
I don't watch it, but I will take your word. I will take your word for it.
Ash versus Kukui is actually a really good battle. You know, and you know, I didn't really watch that anime, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good," you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Pikachu's had a crazy amount of moments throughout anime.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the top moment, I don't even want to say the top moments like the movie, but that's up. Yeah, that's like one of the most iconic Pikachu moments now I think about it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't think Mewtwo's that iconic, but Mewtwo's in that movie, and that movie alone like keeps Mewtwo relevant, I think, in general conversation. And Mewtwo doesn't do a whole lot and is 20 some years old. Like, yeah, Mewtwo is not that great, but you didn't hear it from me. Just saying.
What are you talking about? Existential crisis, Mewtwo.
It's just man, Mewtwo is just okay, but it's all right. I'll let you grade with number. Like I think Pikachu's got. I'm not arguing that Pikachu doesn't even have a 5 as well. I just know from like Levi, I'm giving a hard 5.
For you, I just. What's the category? Is it entertainment value or is it
entertainment value?
Okay.
Like how entertaining, how it's kind of broad because the word entertainment can be broad depending on how you view it.
Mm-hmm.
But to say how enjoyable is it when that character's on the screen?
Trying to think of all the Pikachu moments that come to mind off the top of my head, and there are a lot, but I think depending on how far back you go, Pikachu gets kind of overshadowed by like in terms of battles, Pikachu gets overshadowed by like Charizard when he fights Gary. You got to go all the way back to Orange Islands where Pikachu beats a Dragonite, really, to find like a good fucking moment. And even then, the Tapu Koko fight's dope as fuck.
See, I would say like that goes again, even with my limited knowledge on it. If you want to use the word overshadowed, like I don't feel like Levi's ever been overshadowed in any scene he's in.
That's fair. I would probably give Pikachu like a 4.5.
Okay.
Because Pikachu has some pretty solid moments. For Levi, yeah. Season 3 was Levi's season. He's just clean, man. I'd give him a 5.
Yeah.
I'd give him a 5 for that.
And like Pikachu, the problem is too, like with, and not a problem. I don't want to say this is a problem, but if you're doing comparison, you got to like do things like Blaziken had a run, like you said, Charizard had a run, Lucario has a run. Like there's a bunch of other Pokemon that had like moments, and it's like, damn, dog. Like if you go one ball old enough back, like, and he had almost no screen. Maybe I just like Machamp way more than other people, but I feel like Machamp had a moment. Hitmontop had like it lasted about 2 weeks, but Hitmontop had a moment when it debuted. Not saying it compete with Pikachu, but just I loved Hitmontop and Machamp more than other people should have.
I still do. They have oh, why do you think people break into your house?
Oh,
Homie, you think people break into your house all the time?
No, someone just has a sub. And I got Tupac paranoia. It's okay.
Yeah, bro. Why do you think people trying to rob you?
Last one is roll.
Roll on the show. Is it bad that I want to give Pikachu a 5 for this?
It's bad that I want to both. I want to go. So, okay. I agree Pikachu deserves a 5. I was gonna say
because it's about how did we classify roll? It was like role in the story overall and how it develops the story.
Yeah, right? How well you executed your role. Like Gar is a side character, but he executed his role as a side character like perfectly.
Yeah.
Pikachu is essentially a main character and executes it almost perfectly. Levi, I think the only reason why I can't give Levi a 5, and I hate this because I want to give him a 5. When he's there, he's a 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in season 2.
He's not in season 2. But in that same argument, when we get to Gara isn't in.
And that'll hurt Gara when he's in that.
When he's in it. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't find that as like a detriment.
You're not in a quarter of the show. How can you fulfill your role if you're not in a quarter of the show?
That's fair. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. I get what
I think he's saying. A 5 when he's there, but he's not in. It's my Jiraiya logic. I love Jiraiya as much as anyone could. I love Whitebird as much as anyone could. But I can only, if I'm doing it critically, I can only rank them so high as characters because I've only got so much time with you. I got Jiraiya from tuning exams to halfway through Pain, or 3/4 the way through Pain, I guess.
Yeah.
I got Whitebird for one arc and like here and there in a couple chapters.
Yeah.
It's like I can't put you so high if you're only in so much of the show or the content. You could be the world's greatest. The real obscure example, but it's funny. Asian dude from Hangover. Everybody loved him. He was in 30 seconds. Or he's like the thing that made him pop was for like 30 seconds. It's like, fam, I can't say I can't say you did it better than the dudes who were in there from start to finish.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. No, that's good. You had to put a number on it. What would you put on it?
I'd put a 4 because he's not in. I think he's a 5 if he's there, but I would knock him down a whole letter grade because he didn't turn in a fourth year assignment.
That's brutal. For me, I look at role and like how he affects the main character and how he affects the story at large. And yeah, Levi is your Deus Ex Machina, you know. It's a pretty important role.
Yeah.
And when he isn't there, it shows, you know, which is why I'm very intrigued with the next part of Attack on Titan, because Levi's got fucked up, it looks like. So I would give him a 4. I think I'd give him a 4.5 because there's a lot of moments where Levi is the only reason the story keeps moving forward in a direction. Yeah, if Levi doesn't take out Zeke and gets like, if Levi doesn't take out Zeke, there's really nothing stopping them from taking Aaron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Parody, you know. You know, if Levi gets taken out and Zeke moves in, then Armin is still dead.
Yes.
And Erwin. So I'll give him a 4.5 because his Deus Ex Machina is very large.
Strong case.
You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then Pikachu both agree is a 5.
Yeah, I'd get Pikachu. The role Pikachu plays on like the relationship with Ash and like the relationship that Pikachu has with taking care of like the baby Pokemon that have popped up on that team over the years, you know, taking care of Phanpy and Larvitar back in the day. You know, Pikachu goofing around, like making the Pokemon feel at home and like part of like that family is very important to Pikachu's character.
No, I agree.
And helps Ash in the long run. I'd give him a 5. He's in every episode.
That's valid. Like
It's a thousand episode, almost 1,200 episodes in, and he's in every one.
So we'll go up scores here first, starting with Levi. Levi has 4 plus 3.5 plus 5 plus 4.25. What number did we get?
I don't know. I don't do math.
Oh, cool. 7.5, 12.5, 16.75.
For Levi?
Yes. By the way, for anybody keeping score at home, yes, Levi would have beaten both Spike and Yusuke. Rip.
R.I.P.
For Pikachu, we got 4 plus 2.5 plus 4.5 plus 5. Pikachu has 9, 13, 15, 16.
Okay.
What did I give Levi?
16.75.
Damn. It's the development. Like,
yeah,
those were their 2 low scores. Like, neither of them had a 1, but it was like, because yeah, Levi had a 3.5 and Pikachu had a 2.5. Entertainment wise, right? You gave entertainment wise for Pikachu a 4.5, correct?
Yeah. I put him just under Levi.
Yeah. And I
just like there are just some scenes with like the Kenny thing is so clean. Like, and don't get me wrong, like Pikachu's like entertaining. And in 1,200 episodes, I've only really been like, I've only like had my eyes glued to the screen like a handful of times, you know?
Yeah.
For Pikachu specifically, like Greninja has some crazy moments and Charizard has some crazy moments. And yeah, Pikachu has some crazy moments too. But it's 1,200 episodes, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. So Levi is moving on in the top right corner of our bracket. Next week we'll see. We still have Gara and Luffy and Aang and All Might. So
okay.
Be some fun matchups. With that being said, though, do got to get out of here. Don't forget, as always, check out all the socials we got here on Hardfile Network at I Talk A Lot 9080 at underscore HFN at Wibble underscore MVO at Shadow Riley at Hardfile Network on Twitter and Instagram. Do we got an episode of The Sync this week?
Not this week. We're taking. I think we capped season 1, so we need to like just sit and record a bunch and then put those out.
Sounds good. As always, appreciate everyone for listening. This is A&M, the number 1 anime manga podcast in the world. And if it ain't true yet, we are speaking into existence. And we won't catch y'all next week.
Peace out, dudes.